Hello everyone, this is Konstantinos from Elsteel. I welcome you to one more webinar for this month, for May. The scope of this webinar, as you have seen in the title, is the standard IEC 61439 and the new edition. So today with me I have Richard. Richard, welcome. Richard is the head of the R&D department, and Imal, who is responsible for the tests. Hello, Imal.
Hello, Konstantinos.
So before we start, since it is a technical presentation and it will take some time to present all the new things on the new edition of the IEC 61439, let me remind you that this webinar is recorded. So at the end of the webinar, you will receive a link from where you can see the recorded webinar. And of course, you can share this webinar with your colleagues, with the people in your company that you believe they have something interesting and important to see in this webinar. So Imal and Richard, stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Konstantinos. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As Konstantinos mentioned, I'm Imal Weerasinghe, Assistant Manager of Elsteel Test Lab. Today, we are going to present the changes in IEC 61439-1 and -2. As you know, as they are transition from edition 2 to edition 3, there are numerous changes in the edition 3, but we have tabulated only major changes that we believe they are the most important for you. If you have any questions, please send them to us via the chat, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. First, we will discuss on the general requirements related to 61439-1, and we will go in the left hand side. You will see the edition 2. On the right hand side, you will see the change if something has been changed in the edition 3. So first noted change what we have seen is the introduction of group rated current of the main circuit. Normally we denote it as ING, and the rated current of the main outgoing circuit. Normally we denote it as INC. Okay, let's see what is group rated current of a main circuit, ING. The definition is, could you please go for the previous slide, Ben? Yeah. So the current that can be carried by circuit when it is loaded continuously and simultaneously together with at least one other circuit in the same assembly or section, same assembly or section of the assembly in a specific arrangement as defined by the original manufacturer. In simple word, this means when all the breakers or given configuration, we can decide which breakers will work simultaneously. That's why they have specifically said arrangement as defined by the original manufacturer. This is normally says when the group rated current means several breakers working together. So that means you will see due to the heat dissipation of the adjacent units, there will be the breakers might not, or the equipment inside the assembly might not perform at their very best. So the other one is the rated current of main outgoing circuit. Normally we denoted it as INC. That means the current that can be carried by outgoing circuit when all other outgoing main circuits in the same section are not carrying current. That norm, in simple word, this means individual breaker performance. So you can understand that every time it should be higher, or the individual breaker performance can be greater than the group rated, or it should be at least equal. So could you please click on the first link, Ben? Group rated current. Yeah. So this is where I have taken the definition. You could see it on the under clause 5.3.3, and you will see in this standard the letters are in green. So that means we have taken the red line version. If you purchase the red line version, you will be able to find what are the changes. That means if it is newly written or included newly, so then you will see it in green. But if you see something in red color letters and stripe it over that, that means those are removed from the previous standard. So this is how they have defined the group rated current, and this they have already mentioned in under clause 10 how 10.10 how the temperature rise test should be conducted. Could you please click on the second link then? Rated current of the main circuit. Yeah. So it is, this definition is taken from the standard 5.3.2. You can see that some of the text have been removed and they have rewritten the things in there. So this is the main change what we have found in the this is the first and main change what we have found in the 61439-1. So let's go for the second change. Okay, the second change is the structure change to 10.2 strength of materials, including the option to reference the existing tested design. As an example, could you please click on those links and open them side by side? Yeah, in the left hand side, you will be able to see that under 10.2.5 lifting, you will only see there are no sub clauses under that. It will straight go for the mechanical impact. But when you go for the right hand side in the new standard, new edition, you will see there is a sub clause verification by test and verification by comparison to reference design. This is in everywhere under 10.2, but in previous edition we did not have this. Without testing, we cannot compare with the reference design and take the results. But in this case, there are criteria need to be fulfilled under 10.2.5.2. The verification by comparison to a reference design, you will see enclosures with the same or equal constructional design and arrangement for lifting are verified if having an equal or lower weight than the tested as the representative samples. That means if your assembly has the same construction and everything is the same, but the weight is different due to the components inside, so you can take the previous test result for the current panel as well, which has the lower weight, or if it is having the lower weight or weight which is equal to the tested design. If the weight is higher than which we have tested, then you have to carry out the test again. So this is the second change what we can see on the standard. Could you go for the next slide, please? Yeah. The third change is the mechanical operation. Earlier in the edition 2, it was under 10.13. Now it has taken under 10.2 as a subclause under strength of materials and with number of modifications for the operating cycles required. So if you could you please click on the mechanical operation on left side and right side. So yeah, in here on the left side, you will be able to see in 2011 standard, that means edition 2, mechanical operation, it was under 10.13. It is a new, it was as a new clause, but now it has taken under 10.2 as a subclause 10.2.8. So could you please click on the other link? Just click on that only. Yeah. So don't open both together. Yeah. Yeah. Open the 2011 one, first one. Yeah. Number of operating cycles. In here you will see for parts which need verification by testing, satisfactory mechanical operation shall be verified after installation in the assembly. This will be same in the new standard as well. And the change is the number of operating cycles shall be 200. It is also the same. Could you please click on the second link on that? Yeah. See, you will be able to see on the page 75 at the very top that 200 cycles, the number of operating cycles shall be 200. And also they have added another part where a device has been tested in accordance with its own product standard, but the mounting arrangement is not in accordance with the manufacturer's instruction. Number of operations shall be in accordance with the product standard. So there are numerous equipments which are fixing on the test what you call the assemblies or panels. So they also have their own standard. So they if they have test and also they have their own mounting arrangement. But sometimes there are some situation we might need to mount against that with the space limitations. Then we have to follow the standards which is relevant to that product. So that's what they have mentioned in here. Okay, that's the third change. And the fourth change is on the clarification of on the condition of test samples for clause 10.3 degree of protection IP code. Could you please click on the conditions of the sample? Yeah, first link. Yeah, in here you will see this is the IP testing, and you can see that under the IP testing, IP test shall be carried out in a de-energized state unless stated otherwise by the original manufacturer. That means either we can have this panel in the energized state, we can carry out the IP test in energized state or de-energized state. But if something, when you're carrying a water test, just imagine what will happen if the panel has some leak on there. So in the energized state, there will be short in that. If you could click on the second link on there, please. Now they have removed that part. It doesn't matter whether it is in if we require it to carry out in energized state, we could not do anything. We have to, even the main and auxiliary circuit, we have to make it every time de-energized state. Not only that, they have included, not most of the times when you are testing our assemblies, most of the assemblies which we are doing is extendable. That means you can add some more parts, not only like 1 or 2 cubicles in there. So in that case, they have added a new clause in there, new requirement in there, where the assembly is made up of multiple sections or is described as extendable, joint section shall be included. That means sometimes we used to carry out testing just imagine you have 2 transport section. We might have carried out IP testing in 2 transport sections separately. But as per the current standard, we cannot do that right now. We have to combine them together, and as a one panel, we have to carry out the testing. So that's what they are mentioned in here. So could you go for the other change? That's the fourth change in the standard. And the fifth one is introduction of class 1 and class 2 assemblies for the requirements of protection against electrical shock. Please click on the first link. Yeah. So you will see in here requirements for earth continuity, providing protection against the consequence of the faults within the assembly. They have not mentioned whether it should be the class 1 or class 2. Could you please click on the second link? Yeah, in here you will see instead of assembly, they have removed that and included class 1 or class 2 assemblies. That they have mentioned what we should include in the class 1 assemblies and class 2 assemblies when we are doing the protection against electrical faults, so or earth faults. So that's the fifth change. And the sixth change is related to dielectric properties, especially power frequency withstand voltage is now performed for 60 seconds and increased from the existing 5 seconds. Earlier, you know that in the power frequency withstand voltage testing, if you can click on the first link. Yes, on here, application of the test voltage, you will see it shall be then increased progressively to this full value and maintained for 5 seconds as follows. So that means only within 5 seconds, we rarely find some issues in our panels related to insulation. So if you can click on the second link. Yeah, now it has been increased up to 60 seconds. So now you have some more time within that, within 1 minute period, you will be able to find out more issues when the when sometimes this issue may be occur after a certain level of voltage and a certain level of duration, certain time of duration. So that's why they have increased up to 60 seconds. So that's, could you go for the other one? Yeah. The seventh change is the dielectric properties. New test for conductors covered by insulating material to provide protection against electrical shock. So if you can click on the first link, you will see in here there is no clause as 10.9.6 under dielectric properties. Could you please click on the other link on the new standard? Yeah, you will see it is in here 10.9.6, testing of conductors and hazardous live part covered by insulating material to provide protection against electrical shock. In here you will see under that, conductors and hazardous live parts covered by insulating material in direct contact with the conductor, so as to provide protection against electrical shock, excluding those previously verified for their own product standard. Example, cables shall be subject to an additional dielectric test. That means, sometimes we will use either insulation sleeves on bus bars, but we don't know whether they have tested according to their product standard. If they have tested according to their product standard, then we don't need to test it again, because we can use those references in there. But if they are not tested according to that, then we have to carry out testing, especially on cables and heat shrink tubes which we are using on bus bars. So that is the seventh test change what we have found in the standard. So let's go for the next slide. Yes. As the eighth change is the dielectric properties, clarification on condition required which auxiliary circuits are exempt from the test. If you could click on the first one. In the previous standard, we had to carry out the power frequency withstand and dielectric properties for main and auxiliary circuits. There are no any mention about which we should not carry out the test on specific auxiliary circuits. But in the new standard, if you click on the new, so you will see there are new changes in there. So they have exempted the things. In here you will see under 10.9.2.1, the green colored one, the test is not carried out on auxiliary circuit, blah 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 something. That means if you have this, if you can fulfill these criteria, then we do not need to carry out the testing on there. Other than that, we have to carry out the testing on the auxiliary circuits. So that's the eighth change what we have found in there. So the ninth one is not a very big change, but it says a new calculation under temperaturized to adjust the rated current slightly to help reduce the testing time. Could you please click on there? Yes, in under the method of testing, you don't see any calculation method in here, just to find out how much current that breaker or the bus bars will take, or that component will take, and how, because this temperaturized testing, it will last longer for more than 6 hours, between 6 to 8 hours. So we were unable to find out what would be the specific current which required, which will stay within the limit. So in that case, if you can click on the new standard link, here they have, this is we have seen this calculation under our calculation method in this standard. So verification by calculation on temperaturized testing, you will be able to see this equation, but they have taken it here, and we will be able to slightly reduce the time by assuming how much current it will draw. It is almost near to that limit. So in that case, we can when we are doing the testing, we can straight away go for that current and see whether it will stable on that limit. So that's the ninth change. But in practical scenarios, when we are doing testing in our test lab, we have followed the method. That means we have calculated just to find out how we could what current the breaker or the bus will achieve in this specific temperaturized testing. And the 10th change is the a due calculation under temperaturized to adjust the rated current for different ambient temperature. Could you please click on that? Yes. In here, you will see. Hold on a second. It's not very clear on my screen. Hold on a second. Yes. So in here, you will be able to see that. Could you please close this one? Yes, on here, no. Please click on the first one. On here, you will see bus, the device, yeah. Let me check on there. I think we have made a mistake on there. Yes, in here, you won't be able to see anything under 10.3 after 10.3.5 because the clause is not there. It straight away go for 10.4 verification by assessment. But now they have in the new standard, if you click on the link, please, you will be able to see they have this is in green, that after 10.3.5 they have included 10.3.6 calculation current based on adjustment of ambient air temperature. In here, that means if we have carried out a temperaturized testing in accordance with the ambient temperature of 35 Celsius, you will be able to calculate this value for 50 Celsius, but you have to check the power loss within this is proportional to I square. That means if you read through the standard, you will be able to see once a temperaturized test has been please keep it on that. Yeah, once a temperaturized test has been carried out, applying the temperaturized limit for a daily average ambient air temperature of 35 Celsius, the rated current confirmed by testing for a daily average ambient air temperature of 35 Celsius can be adjusted by calculation to determine rated current for daily average ambient temperatures between 20 Celsius and 50 Celsius, assuming that the temperature rise of each component or device is proportional to the power loss generated in this component. So in here you will see caution should be taken to ensure the device being assessed have a power loss subsequential proportional to I square and not applicable to devices that have substantially fixed or linear losses. So, and also you can see this can be done only by agreement between user and the manufacturer in assemblies where the power loss of conductors and devices is substantially proportional to I square. That means if it is this calculation can be used if the power loss is proportional to I square. If it is linear or fixed, then we cannot use this calculation. So they have given the opportunity to calculate the tested data in 35 Celsius in between 20 Celsius to 50 Celsius. So, but before that, we had to come to an agreement between the user and the manufacturer, and we had to prove that the power losses are proportional to I square. So that's the 10th change what we have found. So the 11th change will be the specified temperature rise limit for aluminum conductors. Could you please click on the first link? Yes, if you go through this, then you will be see under G, there is no temperature rise limit for aluminium bus bars. In letter G, it says assuming all other criteria listed are met, a maximum temperature rise of 105 Kelvin for bare copper bus bars and conductors shall not be exceeded. This is in here, they have given only the temperature rise limit for the copper. But you know, now aluminium is widely used in the world. So if now they have also given the limits for the aluminium as well. In here, you will be able to see, assuming all other criteria listed are met, a maximum temperature rise of 105 Kelvin for copper bus bars. Now they have removed, it is bare copper, and conductor shall not be exceeded. They have newly added 105 rise to the temperature above with annealing of copper is likely to occur in the absence of a declaration from the original manufacturer regarding the reliability and sustainability of the aging behavior of the electrical contact or joint. A maximum temperature rise of 55 Kelvin for bare uncoated aluminium bus bars and conductors is applicable. That means when if we have a declaration from aluminium manufacturer, bus bar manufacturer, if this aluminium bus bars can go for higher temperature rise limit, then we can use that limit. If you don't have those limits, we have as default we have to take 55 Kelvin of temperature rise limit for the aluminium. So that's the 11th change what we have found in 61439-1. In the 12th change is minor clarification for short circuit testing and further clarification on for DC assemblies. As we all know that earlier in 2011 we did not have much DC applications. Now we are widely using DC applications in our day-to-day lives. So now they have clarified and clearly mentioned how test should be done, with which test should be done with DC if you are using some panel or bus bar for DCs, whether it is what tests can be covered from AC testing for DC. Could you please click on the link? In here, you can see they have mentioned and last para, an AC short time current test may be used for verify DC short time withstand current, and a rated DC peak withstand current provided at the test with AC has a peak current equal to the rated DC peak withstand current, and the RMS value of the short time current is at least something like that. Some criteria need to be fulfilled, and if it is fulfilled, we can use AC tested data for the DC. This is there are a lot more changes related to DC in here, and they have mentioned whether we can use AC current on tested results on DC or not. So that's the 12th change what we have listed in here. So in the next slide, this is where you will be able to find out the design verification requirements, how we should carry out ING, that means group rated test, and rated current of main outgoing test, how we can do that. So we can for the group rated current, we can demonstrate it by testing under 10.10.3.5, and the RDF can be tested under 10.2.3.6 and 7. But if you want to carry out individual testing, it can be demonstrated under 10.10.2.3.6 and 7. So these are related to the design verification requirements, how we can check how we should carry out testing on group rated testing and the rated current of main outgoing circuit. So yeah, in here, 61439-1 and -2. So in -2 you have to use along with -1. So If you need more, if you are testing according to -2, then you have to comply the requirements in -1 as well as -2. In here, since it is a very small standard, it doesn't have much changes in there. The main change is the clarification that cooling equipment with the appropriate rating shall not be running for IP test IP5X and 6X. Could you please click on the first link? Yes. In here, when we are carrying out IP testing, especially on dust testing, there are some levers which we are using. So if in here you under this close, you won't be able to see any requirement on there if you are using fan or lever. In previous edition, we had to turn them on and run them when we are doing the testing. Could you please click on the second link? Yeah, in here you will be able to see for the verification of degrees of protection IP5X and 6X enclosures with active cooling. In particular, when fans and air filters are used, the original manufacturer shall obtain confirmation from the cooling equipment manufacturer that the cooling equipment has the required degree of protection. The IP test on the enclosure with cooling equipment fitted shall then be carried out in accordance with IEC 60529 without cooling equipment operating. That means if you are using filters, air filters and fans, if they are tested according to their some IP rating, then we can like IP5 5X or 6X, then we don't need to turn them on, especially the fans. We don't need to turn them on. We can give this declaration or something from the cooling equipment manufacturer, which they have something data sheet also. If they have, not only that, they have to provide a confirmation that it has that required IP rating, and we can submit it to the test lab. Then we can carry out our testing without operating those cooling equipments. So this is a main advantage what we can found in here. So the next change is lightning impulse isolation distance on withdrawable circuit breaker is no longer is required to be tested if proven to its own product standard. Could you please click on the first link here? In here, previously, when you are carrying out a testing impulse withstand voltage test, we have, in a breaker, there are three positions. One is connected, and there is also a disconnected and isolation. So when the breaker is disconnected, if you have using a withdrawable breaker, then we have to take it into the disconnected position, and we had to carry out the impulse withstand voltage test even it is in the disconnected position. If you click on the second link, in the second link, you will be able to see the impulse withstand voltage capability of isolating distance between the withdrawable parts, main contacts and the associated fixed contacts shall be verified to confirm compliance with 8.3.2. This verification shall not be made on such devices, withdrawable circuit breakers in the bracket they have mentioned, of the assembly that have already been verified to at least the same requirement according to their relevant product standard. Because if they are tested previously according to their standard and the same requirement, then we don't need to carry out, because when we are using this uh, when we are doing this breaker testing according to their standard, we will take we are performing impulse withstanding test, and we are taking them to the disconnected position, and we do this as well. Then since that we don't need to repeat this test again, since we have performed it according to the breaker standard. So that's the second advantage we have found in here. And the third advantage will be the informative annexure, especially annexure DD, dealing the requirements for photovoltaic assemblies, which include additional testing requirement. That means, now we are using photovoltaic panels. That means normally we call solar panels. For most of our applications. In that case, in under this standard, they have given an information annexure. Could you please click on the link? At the moment, this annexure is not very mandatory. The we can go through those in how it should be installed, but this is not very mandatory one. Either we can follow it or not. This is an informative one at the moment, but hopefully in the next standard, if these are now they are doing the testing on that and they are checking on the next edition, you will be able to find it as a standard. So at the moment they are doing the trial run on this. So there are so many requirements they have mentioned in here, what are the tests we have to carry out, and so many information in there, but they are still informative. Could you go for the next one, please? Yeah, under that you will see these are some of the requirements. Considering the requirements specific to each assembly, whether that is indoor assembly or outdoor assembly, exposed to solar radiation or no solar radiation, something like these requirements need to be fulfilled. As an example, if it is a mechanical impact, if this is installed in a location with limited access, then IK07 is enough. But if this is installed in a location with non-restricted access, then you have to have at least IK09. And also the protection against contact with live parts, ingress of solid foreign object bodies and water, that means IP code. If it is location where installed in a location where it is accessible for an ordinary person, then it should at least have IP2XC. So there are so many thermal cyclic tests, climate testing, and so many tests also mentioned in this standard. So, and we have to check on those information, and we have to install according to that. But at the moment it is not mandatory, it is not an standard, either we can follow it or not. So these are the main changes what we can find in 61439-2. So
we have a question that came before you proceed to the, let's say, to the second part of the IC standard. So this question came from Tim. One moment. Yes, from Tim. Let me pop up the question so everyone can see the question. So here is the question saying, will Elsteel be updating all of the existing type test certificates, or will there be a cross-reference verification certificate issued? So, replying to this question, what we can say is that all the new tests we will perform, and we are performing, is based on this new edition number 3. But we will look to offer a cross-reference documentation when and where it is required.
And I hope there are some South African participants are also presented in here. I don't know whether they actually, as an example, when you go for like in Australia, New Zealand, still they are using the 2011 standard, but on other countries mostly they are using a new standard. I don't know whether there are any exceptions than New Zealand and Australia. Some other countries, they may also use the 2011 standard. For the questions asked that whether we are trying to the new test, they will be along with the new standard, but there are certain limitations that we can take previous standard to the new standard. At the moment we are working on that. So if we have very old tested data, then we have to retest them again. But at the moment, but still we can use. There are not that much dramatic changes in the standard related to temperature rise and short circuit. They are the more critical ones. So still, I think we can use 2011 standard. From here onwards, what we are doing from 2020 onwards, all the tests are according to new standards. But I just need to check whether other countries are following the new standard from 2020 onwards or not, or just something like Australia and New Zealand.
Perfect. So just a small comment from my side. For today's webinar, we have officially 132 registrations. But because there are places worldwide like New Zealand, Australia, America, they have time difference in comparison with the time we are doing now live this webinar. So all those participants will get the recorded webinar, and of course we are welcome them to send to their sales managers or to me or to Richard the questions they might have or the comments they might have. Now, coming to your comment, Imal, we have from Ludi. Ludi, thank you for your comment. Let me pop this up so everyone can see that. Is referring to what South Africa has launched regarding the new edition of IEC 61439 number 3. So let me pop up this question here. So this is the comment coming from Ludi saying that South Africa has launched SANS 19731 2024, which is based on the standards we have seen at edition 3. Okay, so this is really important to have as comments and feedback from all of you, because this will help Imal and his team to have a better understanding of the global market needs. And if you have any questions, any gray zones where you need our feedback or clarifications, you are more than welcome. We don't have any other comments, Imal. So I would like to thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. I have to say something that it's really rare to find nowadays, but you can find it. It's that you have done a very nice job, because you gathered the differences between the old and the new standard in a very, let's say, short presentation. And I strongly believe that you gave to all of us the most important differences and changes of the new standard. So, Imal, thank you very much for your time, for the excellent presentation. I would like to thank all of you watching this webinar, all of you that you placed your questions and comments, and to all those people that will see this webinar and they will have questions, comments, and feedback, please contact your sales manager, or you can contact the R&D department and me for further replies. So, see you to the next webinar for June next month. Till then, stay safe and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.